Hey guys, I'm Nappy Tappy, and welcome to what hopefully will turn into a series. For now, I'm just going to call it the Psychology of a DJ, where I break down my sets, the thinking that went into it, and just give you like context into the world of DJing and what goes up in our minds when they're coming up with these sets. And like just watching back this set, I'm like, wow, this was probably one of my favorite sets of 2025. I played this at the Afrobeats stage at Made in Josie Festival. And 2025 genuinely was such a tough year creatively for me. Like, I even quit my job as a designer because, like, yeah, the creativity left the room and I was fighting the entire year. So, this set, like, really meant a lot to me because it was me making a statement to myself to say, listen, you got this. You're just going through a season. I remember even last year I started doing the artist way. And yeah, it really helped me work through my creative block and figure out what's been happening in the back end of my mind. So when I prepared this set, like it was a bit of a last minute set. I only knew about it like a week before. And this was the first time I ever attended Made in Jersey. Um, and just to give you the context of the room, the festival was packed. I really wish I had known that I'll be doing this because I'd have recorded all the B-roll you needed. But I'm gonna try spice things up, like by looking through their pages and just showing you the context. And the Afrobeats stage was being hosted in like a VIP section, so already that made like it was gonna be like slightly limited. Um, my slot was from 9 to 10 p.m. right before Cisco de Sol. And you know, that guy is like a legend in his own right. Like he is a legend within the genre Afro House itself. So like the bar was very much high because like this is also New Year's Eve, guys. Like you want to make sure people get into the new year feeling alive, feeling like you have poured everything um into the experience, like like feeling enriched. So that was like kind of like the pressure of like, okay, let's do this. And I got to cooking, and the mix is actually out on Afrobeats if you wanna watch it on YouTube. The full mix, I'll link it down below the like button. um, so the biggest challenge with my slot when I got there, I remember like there was piano playing. So I can only assume because I know Chelsea's Sloan was on I hope I pronounced that right, but like I know she was on the lineup and the piano was heavy. Like one day I hope to actually share the stage with her. I really love her energy, her vibrancy that she brings to the stage. And I look at that, I'm like, wow, that is very, very dope. So anyways, like that means like the bar was really, really high. And um and the fact that I'm also kind of like opening for Cisco, so to speak. So I got into the Afrobeats stage, which was like in the VIP section, and I get in there, and already like Lamini is holding it down, and like yeah, it's you can still see like there's need for a lot of crowd control in order to bring people in and stay. The good thing about that room was that's where the bar was, so naturally you had traffic flowing in and out. So it was very important to be able to capture the people that are coming in and give them a reason to stay. So how I loaded my sets, I ensured that I had like 4 crates, and I'll choose the direction of how I'm going to start the set. And fun fact, there was some guy I sent the set to, not some guy, but like my friend, and he was like, "Yo, this big starts at 24 minutes. That's when you started spazzing." And I'm like, actually, that was very strategic. So the first 4 songs, the way I designed it, I was like, okay, we are gonna use take over from Lamini. So you can hear in the opening set, he's playing like he ended with My Joy. And I was like, okay, let's start with something familiar, something that carries on the same vibe, something that people can sing along to. And that's when I started with like my Holy Ghost Fire edit. midway, I was like, okay, let's bring in Beyonce vocals into that. So I switched it up, played the Beyonce edit, and before you know it, I was like, okay, all right, now I've made a mark because I was like looking around, reading the room to ensure, okay, is this gelling? Is it sticking? So when I played the Beyonce, I was like, okay, okay, okay. At least I've made my presence be known to say, okay, I am taking over the decks. And I went into one of my favorite songs, The African Train. Um, and basically was like, okay, no, this is still an Afro house, Afro tech set because I didn't want it to lose that organic feel of it. I didn't want it to be like cheesy. I still wanted to pay respect to the Afro tech kids that are still in the room. So that was just like, okay, this is a reminder that like we are still gonna do Afro tech, Afro house, uh, but the nappy tappy way, obviously. Um, so it was really like nice in that like you can see me scanning the room, trying to figure out okay who's responding to what. That's what the first four songs were about, and each time new people come through into the bar section, I'm like paying attention. Who's like literally profiling the people that are coming in to ensure okay what's their taste. So when I played my Clark ID Yata, that was just like okay let me test this ID because you know we are lookout for our producer friends over here, and I tested it out. The reaction was beautiful, and then like I saw a bunch of like um the YT folks coming in. That's when I switched it up to Journey and just to make sure I don't lose everybody else that had worked like not so hard at this point. I haven't worked really hard, but that had like worked in the beginning of the set to keep. I was like, okay, let me throw in. That's when like I threw in that like Rihanna a cappella in there, and it worked so perfectly. Through this set, like I think that's the point also where I then saw like one of the managers come in and then turn up the volume. So that was like satisfying. I was like, okay, all right, now we are ready to party. Uh, so when we got to that point, I was like, okay, now I can embody the energy of Nappy Tappy freely and cook what I came to offer the stage, what I came to offer the scene. And that's when really I was like, okay, let's start rock. Let's start to rock. So when the journey came on, like what you notice is I then also used it as a breather where I was trying to manage energy levels. I know I've got like a lot of energy and sometimes I get lost in my own energy expecting everybody else to like be on the same wavelength. So I'm trying to um maintain the energy within everybody, like with the entire crowd to ensure like no one is left behind. So I use the journey as a breather as well. And when that was done, I was like, let's go into hey hey. That's when like I really like lit up. I was like, okay, let's F this thing up. Like let's actually really, really cook. And my rendition of like hey hey and Gom Tech, the GQ Tech by DJ Leg and Ape Drums, I accidentally like discovered it because like when that song came out, it became like the song of the summer because it really gelled the best of both worlds. It gelled the Afrotech Afro house scene and then also the Gqom scene. And I love what DJ Lag is doing in being an architect of Gqom Tech because throughout like his last two releases, um, you can see he's been pushing the boundaries of working with different producers from different worlds to make like a new subgenre. So he did that on Isa Gamandla. On his last album, he did the same thing where he worked with Vanko, and they produced like one of the favorite tracks that set the tone of like a new dawn of like Gomtek as a genre. I think that was where it really like cemented to be like, okay, there is a new emerging genre, and I want to jump into that. Like, so I'm like aggressively looking for those songs. So that's what like most of my set then became. Um, in that like it mirrored the best of both worlds. 2025, like again, what really helped me find myself was going back underground. Like if you ever feel lost, I'd really encourage you go underground to the underground scene, especially like Club AM and Club, mainly Gone Therapy. Those are the spaces that really like showed me myself. Like going underground. Underground is very non-performative. No one is like, oh, look at me. Like everybody's coming in authentically. And that authenticness, authentic partying shows you who you are. It mirrors you back, how you express yourself on that dance floor. So it's been a genre that I've been deeply paying respect to because of that underground nature. And then it was just like, let's rock. So that those are the elements I was focusing on bringing in into my set, and you can hear it with this Hey Hey XGQ Take song, where when I look at the song Hey Hey, fun fact, Hey Hey is a very sad song, but for some reason it became a very like popular dance floor song. The psychology of it is very like interesting how that happened. But if you really listen to the lyrics, it's such a dark song. So I when GQ Tech came out, it kind of like felt like that's what, shout out to Shingirai for actually voicing um doing the vocals, sorry, on Hey Hey. But like I imagine what like the feeling behind the song, the rage behind like the breakup or like the relationship that's being spoken about in the song, how should unleash that rage. And GQ Tick just sounds like those drums sound so perfect in like the mystery and taking you deeper into the feeling and like into quote unquote like the violence, like you hear it with the elements of that song when it drops like the swing. It's really really beautiful. And hearing those drums and again going back to my underground escapades, I remember there's so many like female DJs that I got to interact with and got to watch their sets. And I was like, wow. Like I was wild to the max. And DJs like Makumalo, Pujina, Nightcrawlers, Licky Leaks, the queer culture actually just being underground like right now, like in the comb scene is flipping amazing. Like if you really, really want to have a good time, catch those DJs. Like they are doing tremendous things within this space. So um that's where like I got that idea to merge those two tracks together. I literally play them both side by side. I just like take out the lows from Hey Hey and then introduce GQ Take. So that's like my flavor of playing that song because like it's the song of the summer. It's bound to be played multiple times every time you go to a gig. So that's just how I am differentiating myself from everybody else. Um, Throughout the set, you notice I was pretty much eyeing the room. Usually, I prepare my sets based off of time slots, based off of what the festival is looking for. And sometimes, like, I then forget that DJing is about feeling the room. So you notice throughout, I've multiple times, if I drop something that I'm thinking the crowd is gonna love, I am paying attention to the room. So there was like a balcony on top and downstairs as well. I'm like looking to ensure everyone is catered for, and I also realized most people that were coming in that space were also looking to just chill, to get away from, uh, not like a getaway, but like to just like chill and take a breather. So it was very important then to balance them out to ensure, okay, you're still chilling, but like you're enjoying the show. Um, so the point was then to maintain from that point on, from like the 24-minute mark, it was just like, let's maintain that same energy so that it's not too sporadic. So after that, Hey Hey Bridge, I went into like Nini Mani, which is also very much one of my favorite songs. When I first started DJing, that was like the song I played a lot. So given how like hectic 2025 was, it was just nice to replay that song and find the comfort of like, okay, you know what you're doing. Because like back then when I started DJing, when you don't know what you don't know, you have this high level of confidence to just go at it and grab it by the horns and do your thing because you really don't care that much. So it was just like that same reminder, that same token within the set. Every time I'm playing sets, I always try to make sure I have a list of 3 songs that are personal to me that I like put into the set, and I usually use those as breathers as well. So you notice when I play that song, I'm not putting any effects on the song. I'm just letting the song play. I'm also allowing myself to vibe within the song and read the room to understand what direction to take us next. I've had a lot of like comments on TikTok and even in person where they're just like comparing me to Shakira. They're like, the hips don't lie. I think that's gonna be one of my signature um, dance moves on the decks. Man, I really feel like you have to feel it in the hips because that's where it's at. Like if the music is not moving you to move your hips, then like I don't know, man. Like I don't know. Like it needs to hit. I always feel like that's one of the core centers that allows you to move your entire body. Like it's most like the fundamental um areas when it comes to dancing that needs to groove and move. So I enjoy that a lot. So after that, we then went into the second half of the set, which was just about like, okay, we've built this energy. Let us finish this. Let's do this. And that's when I tried out the Drake and Dramatic Boys mashup. Um, because when I was playing that song from Dramatic Boys, it was just like it meant to be. I found myself over and over looping that first part of the song. Who's calling that? Who's calling that? Who's calling that? And I was like, oh, let me actually try it. And then I tried it, and it worked. Like it worked fine. I was a bit scared to try it. Felt like if it didn't come out right, it would sound super super corny. And at the same time, that's when like I saw my girlfriend coming on the like coming right on the dance floor to record me, and I then decided, oh, let me actually switch up the vocals and put in the weekends. I can feel my face when I'm with you, just as a like, I see you, and I love you, and this one's for you. So that's when I switched back acapellas to the weekend, which is actually really funny considering like the beef between the two, and then to put them up in the same song was just like a little bit of like drama on my side, but that also worked out really great with the drop. And from there, that's when I wanted the home influence to really show. And um, I really appreciate the West Afro house scene as well, like what people like Danny Gato is doing, and Karaba, who is like really like my dream back to back. Like if there's one DJ I really, really want to do a back to back with, it has to be Karaba. Yo, the energy and the mileage, like I've been seeing his sets, and I'm just like, when are you coming to SA? And even her releases, I'm just like, yeah, it's gonna be amazing when that happens one day. For the most part, like I really love what their flavor of Afro House and how they've like taken it alongside like influences like Kuduro as well in Angola. It's just like, okay, these guys are onto something. Like it's raw, it's organic, it's different. It can get up to 130 BPM, which honestly is works great for me. Like with the energy that I have and the energy I want to give, it's perfect. Like it's the perfect uns that I am also looking for and yearning to dish out. So yeah, 2026 might be the year that we release our own pieces. Hopefully, we'll see. Going through this, it also noticed some mistakes I'll be making, like minor things that I'm like, oh, I need to work on, especially like with my levels. I noticed that like I'm too scared to bump up the volume, and some of my levels, especially with acapella, you could tell they need a bit of work. But overall, I was like really, really happy with that set. I'm really happy with how it's being received as well online. Like I've seen like so many comments on the video. I've also seen like even personally people reaching out and be like, "Yo, this set is like crazy," and it's definitely set the tone and set the bar for 2026. It's given me that confidence to be like, you know what? I think I know what I'm doing. Yeah, because like I say, 2025 was crazy. And shout out to the team at Afrobiza MCK. He's been like growing the festival from scratch, and it's impressive to see what is built. The platform is building for DJs like me as well to actually showcase what we have and work as alongside like big talents in the space. So to end of the set, I didn't want to end off. I think it's such like a um, terrible thing when you're opening for a big name to then end it at that high paced energy. I wanted to leave room to breathe, like for that energy to be like, okay, I've cooked everybody, everybody's ready. And yeah, by the end of that set, there were like people on the dance floor, which was like really like reassuring. We'd be like, okay, I managed to keep people in, to keep people hooked and ready for whatever is next for the night. And it was like a very um interesting lineup because you had like Cisco right after that, you had MCK, you had Privacy as well. So it was gonna be back like it was gonna be a special night for the Afro house people. Um, so to end it, I did 1,000 seconds. I think when you look at New Year's Eve, you want to create like something memorable, and using these like nostalgic songs helps with that because now when you play that song back, if you really had like such a good time, it's those nostalgic songs that just add the same level of um euphoria to the memories of like, oh, do you remember New Year's Eve 2025? That was crazy. And you add that layer of joy to someone's life when now they consider looking back to be like, this is how I got into 2026. So I decided to couple it with the acapella from Jado, and it's I think those two just marry each other perfectly. Had the people in their feelings. These flow from my lips every time we kiss. And it was one of the best handovers, I'd say, because like you can see in the video, I'm talking to Cisco and just like, yeah, man, thank you. And it was like a nice co-signing there from him where you can tell, okay, he was proud as a whole. So yeah, that's basically the end of that. I'm happy with the work that I did, and I'm happy to see how this year progresses in terms of what I have to offer. So stay tuned for more.